Snow fell softly that evening, the kind that made the whole city look quieter than it really was, as if the world itself was holding its breath. She sat alone at a small table near the café window, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee that had already gone cold, watching couples laugh under twinkling Christmas lights outside. 10 minutes ago, she had been smiling nervously, rehearsing answers in her head. 5 minutes ago, she had watched him stand up, glance at his phone, mutter an excuse that didn't quite make sense, and walk out without looking back. By the time the door closed behind him, the silence at the table felt louder than the holiday music playing in the background. Rejected. On Christmas. On a blind date she had almost canceled because some part of her feared this exact moment. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that even the worst moments can turn into something beautiful, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. She had agreed to the blind date because everyone told her it was time to move on. A year had passed since her engagement ended quietly, painfully, with promises that faded instead of breaking loudly. Since then, Christmas had felt heavier. Friends tried to help, setting her up with nice guys who were supposedly perfect for her, but each attempt chipped away at her confidence. Tonight's date had seemed different at first. He was polite, well-dressed, and spoke about new beginnings. But something shifted when he asked about her life, her past, her work, and she answered honestly, without glossing over the struggles. His smile tightened. His eyes drifted to the door. And then he was gone, leaving behind half a cup of untouched tea and the sharp reminder that being yourself still wasn't always enough. She told herself not to cry. She stared at the condensation on her cup, focusing on the small details to keep the tears from spilling over. Around her, families laughed, children pressed their faces to the glass to catch snowflakes, and waiters rushed back and forth carrying plates of warm food. She felt invisible, like a background character in everyone else's happy scene. Part of her wanted to stand up and leave, to walk home quickly before anyone noticed she was alone. Another part of her felt too tired to move, as if this rejection had drained whatever strength she had left. That was when she noticed the little girl. No more than 6 or 7 years old, bundled in a red coat that seemed too big for her, standing a few tables away. The child looked at her with open curiosity, the kind only children have, unfiltered and fearless. A moment later, a young man and woman, likely her parents, appeared behind her, apologizing to the staff for the child wandering off. Just as they were about to guide her back, the girl tugged at her mother's sleeve and pointed toward the empty chair across from the woman's table. With a bright, hopeful expression, she asked if they could join her. At first, the woman was too surprised to respond. She looked at the empty seat, then at the family, embarrassed by her own vulnerability being so visible. The parents hesitated, clearly unsure, but something in the woman's tired smile softened their concern. They pulled up chairs, murmuring thanks, and suddenly the table that had felt painfully empty was filled with warmth and movement. The little girl climbed onto her chair, swinging her legs happily, as if this small act of togetherness was the most natural thing in the world. The conversation started slowly, awkwardly, but it didn't take long for the tension to fade. The parents spoke about their holiday traditions, the chaos of traveling with a child, the small joys of the season. The woman found herself laughing, genuinely laughing, for the first time that night. The little girl told stories about school, about her excitement for Christmas morning, about how lights made her feel safe and happy. There was no judgment in her eyes, no expectations. She didn't see a rejected woman on a failed date. She just saw someone sitting alone on Christmas and decided that wasn't how the night should be. As the minutes passed, something inside the woman shifted. The sting of rejection didn't disappear, but it lost its power. She realized that her worth hadn't changed because one person walked away. This family didn't know her story, her past, or her flaws, yet they treated her with kindness simply because she was human and present in that moment. The café seemed warmer now, the lights brighter. Even the snow outside looked less lonely, swirling playfully instead of falling heavily. When the family eventually stood to leave, the little girl reached across the table and squeezed the woman's hand, smiling as if they shared a secret. That small gesture stayed with her long after they were gone. She paid her bill, stepped back into the cold night, and felt something unfamiliar but welcome rise in her chest. Hope. Not the loud, unrealistic kind, but a quiet certainty that life could still surprise her in gentle ways. Walking home, she passed the same couple she had watched earlier, but they no longer made her feel small. She understood now that being alone didn't mean being unlovable, and rejection didn't define her future. Sometimes, healing didn't come from romance or grand gestures, but from unexpected moments of connection, from a child's innocent kindness that reminded her she still belonged in this world. As she reached her door, snow settling on her coat, she looked up at the dark sky and felt grateful. Grateful that she hadn't left the cafe too quickly. Grateful that she had stayed open, even when it hurt. And grateful that on a night that began with rejection, she had found something far more meaningful than a successful date. She had found a reason to believe again. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can appear when you least expect it, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. And before the video ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below with a red heart if you believe that small acts of kindness can change someone's life, because somewhere out there, someone is sitting alone, thinking they've been rejected by the world, unaware that a single moment, a single gesture, could be waiting just around the corner to remind them they are never truly alone.